But he's gotten stuff right. He's also gotten stuff wrong. So take it with a grain of salt. But he's gotten enough stuff right where he says something, people listen to it because it's like, oh, looks like it could be factual. First thing he says is that Mr. Sinister is reportedly the top contender to be the main villain in the MCU's upcoming X-Men project. Now, I think that's a smart idea. Mr. Sinister, I know, was someone that they were maybe thinking about eventually using in the Fox universe, but they never got around to it. They were starting to build up to him, and it never happened. And, Marvel and reboots, whenever you get to a new thing, they want to do something different that hasn't been done before. Mr. Sinister would be a good start. I actually don't know too much about Mr. Sinister, what he could do. So I wish I could be more excited about that. I've got to research the character a little bit more. Or I could just, do that right now with you guys. Let's see if we can find a nice Mr. Sinister synopsis real quick. Let's see what he's about, or even what his powers are. Nathaniel Essex. So he has the Essex Corporation. That's what I thought. So he's like a businessman. Was a brilliant Victorian-era scientist who was obsessed with... Louise. Who was obsessed with deterministic's interpretations of natural evolution, predicting the emergence of mutants in the near future. Essex intellect caught that attention of Apocalypse, a powerful mutant, the very embodiment of Essex's prediction. Apocalypse genetically mutated Essex. Oh, so is he one of Apocalypse's horsemen? Okay. Known as Mr. Sinister. Through the years, Mr. Sinister became one of the greatest geneticists to have ever lived, skilled in cloning, creating new life, and even manipulation of mutant DNA for enhancing powers, incorporating mutant DNA to his own. Oh, that definitely sounds pretty sinister then. Is there like a part to adjust his powers? Let's see. We could get equipment, weapons, transportation, notes and trivia, abilities, genius intelligence, genius level geneticist, master surgeon, skilled mechanic engineer, master manipulator, master debater, trained combatant. Okay, so it's cool stuff to know about him. Mr. Sinister sounds very cool. Yeah, so there's a lot they could do there. And Marvel, even with everything I just read you, they like to change things up. Look how much they've changed Kamala Khan, how much they've changed Shang-Chi. They take liberties as long to make it fit into their MCU. So he could be ultra powerful. He could just end up being a businessman for all we know. But I think what they'll definitely do is have him be intelligent. So that's fine. So that's cool. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Do something new. I like that. But then here's the part where some fans were getting mad. Previously reported, Marvel Studios is actively in talks with writers for the MCU's X-Men reboot. Magneto is currently not involved in any of the feature films. So it looks like Marvel really wants to be different, and they don't want to rely on Magneto the same way the Fox universe did. And we see that happen a lot, like I said, with reboots. Since Magneto was such a huge part, they don't want Magneto as a villain. And I could understand that, and I could be okay with that. But just to, not even have Magneto part of it at all would feel really weird. Like, if you have Charles Xavier, you have Magneto, right? Like, him creating the Brotherhood of Mutants and all the more evil mutants, or just the mutants that want to find themselves superior over people and take over and stuff like that. That feels like an essential thing with the X-Men. To, not have Magneto at all, I think would be really weird. Especially if you have it where it's like a couple movies and X-Men stories of no Magneto, then out of nowhere, Magneto just appears. It's like, where have you been, buddy? Where have you bloody been? So that's weird, but again, you've had great interpretations of Magneto. Ian McKellen and frickin' Michael Fassbender, they knocked it out of the frickin' park with Magneto, man. Those storylines were great that they did there, and there was a lot of good done, and I'm sure they're maybe going to show up in Secret Wars. But it is kind of weird. But if they somehow build up to him, or maybe Magneto could be like a figure in the background that's mentioned but never really shown until the time is right, yeah, that could work. What? That's crazy? Yeah, that's definitely a little crazy. I think Magneto should be saved for a Thanos-like villain, honestly. I mean, he has that potential. That could be something cool. I would love to see Marvel build up to an X-Men versus Avengers storyline somewhere in there. That'd be cool. And Magneto could be at the head of manipulating all that. But that's definitely a part that's got me going, okay, that's a little strange right there. But We'll see how that works. Then we got one detail that just like really pissed off some people. Let's get into it. So this was it. So this was the big thing that was reported that made a lot of people go, "Oh, seriously? That's what you're going to end up doing?" Is that apparently Kevin Feige really wants to focus in on the female characters in the X-Men, prioritize them, give them a little bit more of the spotlight. And that's where you have those people who scream woke, who scream MCU, who are like, they're ruining everything with their agendas. How dare they say women are powerful? That's just ridiculous. Look, there's two sides of it, okay? I definitely think there should be a balanced approach to this. I feel like there should be a way that you can really show off some of these women's storylines, because when I started to think about it, some of the women X-Men have the more interesting storylines. I mean, Storm being eventually becoming like one of the leaders in there, the Jean Grey, like they freaking did three, I think, movies, or two, I guess. No, like three movies, didn't they? About Jean Grey in the Fox universe. Like, Jean Grey is so essential to the X-Men storyline. Rogue, I feel, could be done a little bit more justice. I really want to dive more into Rogue and her situation about not being able to touch people. And now in the MCU, she's got a Captain Marvel there where she sucks her power, and then she got the power of flight and all that kind of stuff. I think there's definitely a lot of interesting storylines within the female characters that should be explored, that like I understand. But I also don't want a lot of the other X-Men to suffer, because I am a giant fan of freaking Cyclops. I love Cyclops, and I feel like he was done dirty in the Fox universe, man. Like, I like James Marsden. I think he's badass. But I always felt they never let Cyclops shine in the Fox universe, and I was pissed when they killed him off in X-Men 3. That's why I'm also hoping all those rumors that he's going to show up in Deadpool 3 and have that 90s X-Men suit, that freaking, where is it? This one? Oh, dude. If James Marsden shows up like this and has just like one badass scene, 10 out of 10 movie Deadpool 3. 10 out of 10. And Scott in the comics sometimes becomes the leader of the X-Men. I would love to see an arc of teenage Scott Summers joining the X-Men, unsure of himself, realize like my eyes just go pew pew. How can I be a leader? And then he becomes a leader through a couple of movies. That would be awesome. Iceman, Bobby. I also thought like Iceman wasn't always done. Let's see, is it Iceman? Iceman. Let me pull him up there. I felt like Iceman also didn't get a lot to do. Like I thought it was so badass in X-Men 3 where he finally does his iconic thing of going fully iced, but it was only like a 5-second thing. I also loved it when they did it in Days of Future Past. They brought it back for that. But Bobby Iceman is one of my other favorite X-Men, and I felt like also, I'm just saying, it seemed like the Fox universe really focused in on 3 characters: Charles, Magneto, and Wolverine, which is fine. Those are very important people in the X-Men universe. But there are other also men X-Men that I would love to see get in there. So I hope there is a balance, and there's a way for you to articulate that without having to use the words woke, MCU. I can agree. There's some great women storylines in there that need to be thrown out there, and I would love to see them. But I also just don't want, the men to suffer, and I also don't want it to be a thing about, like, remember that line Jennifer Lawrence had in the Phoenix movie where she was like, the women do a lot of saving here. This should be renamed the X-Women. Who is that line for? Who is that helping? Why did we do that? Why was that a line in the movie? It's like you're purposely poking the bear for a reaction, and it's like, just focus on the story. Make a good movie. How about that's our priority? And the rest will come, basically. That's all I'm trying to say there. So, yeah, I don't mind. And, Kitty Pryde, too. That's another one I definitely want to see more of. And if they do more of that love triangle thing, I know in the comics it's a little bit more prevalent. And maybe she'll get her little dragon. So that's what we got going on. We'll see if it becomes a reality. I'm like, can't wait for the X-Men. But I'm also kind of scared just how Marvel's gonna do it, because like I hear they don't even want to call the movies X-Men, right? They're gonna call them mutants, the mutants. I like that they're throwing Kamala Khan in there. Miss Marvel's apparently gonna be a mutant. I'm like, okay, that's gonna be kind of cool, because I like her. I think she's fun. So imagining her dynamic with a bunch of the mutants, that's gonna be pretty cool. but I just kind of wanted to feel like a classic story. Have them I like more about them going to the school, because that's always like what fascinated me in the mutant movies, in the X-Men movies, was they have a school. I want to see more of those classes, how they teach them their powers, not just how they teach them regular history and stuff like that. I want to know, all right, Iceman, today we're going to test out this from you. And it's like, I want to see that. I want to see that go down. Yeah, we could talk about the Ryan Gosling thing. So let's get into that. So there was a report that came out, because all Marvel's all the talk right now, that apparently Ryan Gosling had a meeting with Kevin Feige and talks to join the MCU in an unknown role. Now, because this is obviously happening so soon to the Jonathan Majors situation and Kang, and he's been let go of, people are memeing and making the jokes like my good friend TCU, which if you don't follow him on TikTok, some of the funniest content you'll see on there. He decided to say Ryan Gosling is reportedly in talks to join the MCU in an unknown role, most likely Kang the Conqueror. I literally was like, hey, bro, what? Come on. Ryan Gosling has just been that character that people have been inserting to replace other characters. Ryan Gosling, Black Panther. Have you guys seen that thing? This is like a real thing someone made up. It's like a common joke. I just can't believe someone made that photo. That was crazy. That's crazy that someone did that. Then AI has made it more realistic. Look at that. Literally me. Literally me. But okay, joking aside, I don't think he's playing Kang, guys. All right, let's just drop that right there. In fact, I could talk a little bit about the Kang situation and tell you, I don't think they're going to recast. I think they're going to completely move aside. Before I speculate on Ryan Gosling, let me just get this out of the way. I feel like someone brought up a great point, Okay, so putting what Jonathan Majors has done aside and guilty and whatnot stuff, just as a professional actor, he was a damn good actor. He was very well trained. He was really good. And he had to be, because he was literally supposed to play like 100 different characters. Every time he showed up as a variant version, you felt that was a different character, whether it was He Who Remains, Victor Timely, Kang the Conqueror. Now trying to find not only an actor to replace him, but that also has that same skill and talent to be able to form different characters. Easier said than done. I know I make it look easy whenever I dress up and I morph into my characters, but this is on a different level we're talking about here. And I feel like that's going to be one of the drawing points. And also, like, again, people weren't just not feeling the Kang storyline. And a lot of the storyline was taking place on Disney Plus, which I feel like there's not a lot of MCU fans even watching the Disney Plus content anymore, if I'm being real with you. So that's my thought on it right there. But now the Ryan Gosling thing. Who do we think Ryan Gosling is going to be? Now, I remember there was a report that Ryan Gosling was maybe in talks to play someone in the Fantastic Four world. I remember that was an article. Let me see if I can have it pop up. Okay. So this came out in November for a villain role. Okay, so he was up for a villain role at one point. It was also said that he was like being brought into maybe the Fantastic Four and he could play Doctor Doom. I was like, I don't know if I see him as Doctor Doom. In fact, I don't even know what Doctor Doom could be, because in all the previous Fantastic Four movies, I think Doctor Doom was always done pretty bad. I kind of like the 2005 or 4, whatever one, but even then, that was a campy version. I'm kind of hoping he's playing Mr. Fantastic. I know we heard the rumors that it's going to be what's his name? Pedro Pascal, but no confirmation yet. That's still just a rumor. No one has officially said. Yeah, sorry, I had an ad pop up there. My bad. But we have no official confirmation that Pedro Pascal signed the paperwork, that he's for sure going to be Reed Richards. It could still be up in the air. Maybe something happened. Maybe he's going to be much more busy with The Last of Us than we thought, and he can't do it. But yeah, I'd love to see your guys' guesses in the chat. If you have any guesses of who you think he'll play, I'd love to hear what y'all think. Thor 5 somewhere in there. Oh, he's the new Thor. He's Thor's son. Ryan Gosling should play Danny DeVito in the MCU. Now we're talking Ken. All right, come on now. Joe Mama, what is this? You try to talk to your peeps, and this is what you do? This is worse than when I'm on Fortnite with my friend trying to have a serious conversation, and he responds just by emoting. Right foot, left foot, pretty. Okay, then I thought we were gonna get sentimental. Peter Griffin. All right, so obviously no one's taking it seriously. That's cool. But Chameleon, I think he's got to be someone bigger than that. He should play Goku. Okay, so that's what we got for Ryan Gosling, the man. I'm down to see whatever what he'll be. Oh, you know what? That's not bad. Blue-ray Angel might be cooking here. Ghost Rider would be dope. Seeing him as Ghost Rider? Oh, yeah. He's not Drive anymore. He's Mortar Drive. Oh, I did it right there for you, Kevin Feige. I think Ryan Gosling's so underrated. Man's so talented. Nova? I feel like they want to do the teenage Nova. I don't know if they... And also, isn't Nova like supposed to be Hispanic or something? I remember it was that. Keanu Reeves should be Ghost Rider. I would love Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm literally him. He should play Black Cat now. I'd love to see Ryan Gosling get in them tighty tights. Cyclops, I think they want to go for a teenage Cyclops. I think all those X-Men people, they're going to be teenagers. They're going to go young. They're going to build them up over time. You got to do it that way.